Morning all. Face the sun. Ow, too bright. Treading a rabbit hole. I'm Tim, and this is How to Murder Feet something week something day whatever. It's Wednesday, the 22nd of September. My phone's trying to convince me it's 8 o'clock. It's not. It's 7. My phone thinks we're in France. That's France over there. We're at least 20 miles away. Come on, sort it out. I can only imagine that because I'm over the back of this hill, I'm not actually in range of any actual UK mobile phone masts particularly, so the strongest signal my phone's picking up is mobile masts over there. Anyway, so here I am, having totally not camped anywhere at all around here. If I had a camp last night, I would have found that my tent pole broke again, the small hoopy one at the foot end of the tent, which is irritating. Also, my phone woke me up an hour early because it thought it was in France. So yeah, and it was on a bit of a slopey bit too. So yeah, a bit of a mixed night, but still a fantastic location. Look at this sunrise and ferries coming in and going out. I was hearing boats most of the night, actually, on and off. I don't think the ferries were running very frequently, well, at least not very frequently overnight, but there was other stuff going through all night long. Coastal patrol as well. I expect he was zooming up and down. I had this irrational fear he had some kind of very long-range infrared detector thing, but I thought, why do he care what's going on at the top of the cliff? Surely the bottom of the cliffs and the sea is more interesting for him. Still, here we are anyway. So I mean, it's a sort of split down the pole. It's essentially sort of fractured lengthways somewhat, and it's still holding together more or less. Same thing happened last time. It didn't sort of just suddenly explode in a shower of high-speed fiberglass shrapnel or anything. It's because the sleeve in which the pole sort of slides into held it all together. So it's okay, and I think it will probably last me one more night because it needs to. I've still got another night under canvas to go. Not that I do camping at all. No, I just sit on benches all night. But I think it'll hold if I'm careful putting it up and taking it down. It's still load bearing, but yeah, I think that basically means the end of that tent, which is a shame. I've really liked that one. It's been a very good tent. The Vango Sol 200. I can't recommend it highly enough, except they don't sell them anymore, which is part of the problem. When the first pole snapped, because the tail end pole is under an enormous amount of tension. That's essentially how it holds the whole thing up at the bottom end. And it gets really hard to sort of bend and slot into the little metal peg things that slot up into it. And I often have trouble, wrestling it in, and I sometimes worry that the tension I'm putting it under is going to make the pole snap. And ta-da! And the first one of those broke on me around St Ives sort of way on that week. And I went off and got some replacement poles and stuff. But the trouble is, the replacement poles, they don't do replacement pole packs for that tent. Well, they didn't back then. They probably still don't now. So I got some generic poles sort of set for the Vango tents. And I had to saw some of those. Well, my dad did it actually. He's got a big old workshop with this stuff. Likes to help out, which is good. But got the pole sawn to the right length and recapped and everything, but then the pole itself is slightly too thick. Clearly it's designed for a bigger replacement, for a larger main pole set for a bigger tent or something. So being that much thicker makes it really that much harder to bend as well, which means that it's gotten even harder to actually bend the thing and stick it in the slot. Misses. Which inevitably led to it just shearing again. So I didn't even bring any tape. Some trips I'd bring a little reel of duct tape, which was perfect for just holding it all together until I can get them sorted out. But no. And the last pole replacement set cost nearly as much as the tent. I think I only paid about 40 quid for the tent. And that's what you'd pay for like an Argos Festival special, the sort of thing you just end up getting dumped in a massive bin at the end of the Reading Festival or whatever. But that's been easily adequate to anything I've thrown at it, or has been thrown at me while I've been out camping. I've been some really heavy rain, some quite strong wind. Been very good. So, but yeah, I'm very big on reuse and use things until they break, but this has broken really. I could try and get another set of replacement poles, but a lot of faff and something like this is just going to happen again, I think. So probably time to upgrade the tent. So that'll be something to look forward to when I get home, something to think about before May next year. Try and get something a bit more modern, a bit more high end. I think this time I can afford it. That's fine. It's not that I'm on a budget particularly, but there are certain, having used the tent in earnest and in anger for quite some time, I've come to know what I want from a tent. So yeah, I better go and do a little tick list of things, check out some other models and so on. Get any recommendations, do the research, etc. Yeah, a bit of a slope. I was rolling around all night, tossing and turning, like a mariner lost at sea. But obviously, no, I wasn't, because I wasn't camping. Anyway, enough about my bleaty little travails. So today is the second to last day, last full day, because I think I'm successfully compressing my original itinerary down to -1 day. So I've got about 15 miles to do today then. I think it's slightly shorter than yesterday, which is good, because yesterday didn't feel that bad. I mean, there was some sort of coming up those hills around the Dover carport. That was quite a stress. Mostly because it had just been quite a long day, and I was hitting that sort of late afternoon dead zone, But yeah, I think I've sufficiently recovered overnight to pull another 15 miler, which is good. Which will take me through, St Margaret's Bay is just over the hill there. I'm not sure, so it's only about 7 o'clock at the moment, so I don't think anything's going to be open, so that's fine, I'll carry on through. If they got a public toilet, that'd be useful just to tap up the water perhaps, but got through quite a lot last night again as well. It's quite easy to underestimate. You think you need the water while you're hiking, and you think your needs just stop when you stop walking, but they don't. Body's recovering, it needs water to do so. So something to bear in mind. So St Margaret's Bay, then there's Kingsdown, I believe, small village, a slightly larger village beyond that. And then beyond that is Deal, which is a sizable town, small town there. And Deal definitely will, I will probably hit Deal by about 9, 10, something like that. So I'll definitely be able to get some food and drink and whatnot there, if I haven't already found anything. And then beyond, I've lost track of what's beyond, but basically today I'm trying to wind my way to somewhere called Cliffsend. So basically the sort of coast goes sort of up in an almost northerly direction for the whole 15 miles today, and then it sort of hooks round onto a bulge where Margaret's on the top, Ramsgate's on the bottom, Broadstairs in the middle somewhere. And that bulge is about 10 miles long, and I can do that as a morning exercise tomorrow, leaving me in Margate for lunchtime roughly on Thursday. At which point I shall just stroll onto a train and sit down for about 3 hours. That'll be all right. Oof, look at that. It's blowing out the light balance a bit, but it looks majestic. There's a boat caught right in the... Hang on, I'm going to stop and come back in zoom mode. Here we go, back in zoom mode, right. Look at that. I've been really lucky with the weather this week. I often am, actually. I'm surprised. I mean, yeah, okay. You were all there with that awful week where I got washed out at Budley Salterton, but had to give up because I was on the verge of hypothermia. But that's only happened to me once in the entire while. We're getting on for about 900 miles now since Minehead. I've been rained on occasionally, but only little light showers here and there. I've managed to consistently dodge named hurricanes and named storms as well. A week's either side, and I'd have been battling 70-mile-an-hour winds and horizontal hailstones and stuff. But somehow, I don't know. I mean, yeah, obviously there's a certain amount of luck to that, but I do pick these specific weeks in the year to do this for these reasons. So. Anyway, right. So I've got quite low on the water. I think only about half my capacity at the moment. I think 1 litre out of 2. So I'll need to make sure I do jump in whatever newsagent or village shop I see coming up. But yeah, otherwise hale and hearty, ready to move on with my penultimate day for this week. And then, I suppose, once I've gotten on a train at Margate, all you lucky people get to have a rest for like 7 months. I mean, I don't know what rate John's putting these out. He does stagger the delivery of these onto YouTube, so I think by the time you're watching this, I'll almost certainly have finished. Yeah. But what there won't be is a whole sort of summer load, well, a whole winter load of other videos going in either, because I've just not really got anything planned. I mean, I don't know if I want to do a sort of South Downs Way winter day trip type project. But to be honest, the whole reason I'm doing camping again is because this is just too far away from where I live to be doing day tripping practically. So I don't know. There's not really anything especially monumental or adventuresome where I live. It's just, you know, walk around the block, even if that block does tend to be about 8 miles, you know. So yeah. Anyway, that's probably stuff I ought to say for the summing up at the end of tomorrow, but today is just another day of walking. So I think it's cliffs mostly. The place I'm aiming for is called Cliffsend, so that probably should tell you something. So yeah, I'm expecting a fair bit of up and down today, but distances is a bit less today, so that's okay. Good. Oh, I can feel my throat going, so I'm going to need to take a swig and get on with it, really. Speak to you again soon from somewhere. Yes, just been past the tea room and museum. Doesn't open until 10. I could be 6 miles away by then. Saxon Shore Way with a tiny little acorn in the corner as well. England Coast Path, good. There you go, you can see it now. Yeah, that's okay. We're also on the Frontline Britain Trail, which I imagine entails a great deal more concrete bunkers on the cliff tops. We'll see as we go. Private event parking. Yeah, so that's St Margaret's Bay really. I think that museum and tea room's probably the sole concession to hospitality it has. But that's okay, I'm too early for anything anyway. Let's move on. Kingsdown's probably my best bet for an actual shop, which I think is about another 2 or 3 miles beyond. So I'll work up a bit of an appetite in the early morning session. Looks like the path brought me down to the shore anyway, which is a nice thought, I suppose, but I'm going to have to get to the top of that flipping cliff somehow quite soon. Is that some local council person wandering around? Who knows? Is that toilets? Maybe I can top up my water bottles. Pub there, but it's not open, obviously. Ice cream van there, not open also. Why doesn't everybody get up at 7 o'clock in the morning like I do? No, overnight camping. Ooh. Yeah, that's torn it. I've seen the sign now. I'm sure that only applies to here. Still not that far from the ferries. Just a little bit around the corner and they all go. Right, so someone out for an early morning swim by the looks of it. Recognise the baggy hoodie. Alright, so yes, I'm going to have to climb up some quite steep stairs now. Well, unless we go around the base. I don't know. Seems unlikely. I think we are going up and over. Oh, tide times. I should probably check that out. Not that I plan on being anywhere near a beach today. This is all... oh, what day are we? 21st, Wednesday. High tide 8:55, and then at 21:34. Low tides at 3:14 in the morning and 3:50 in the evening. Sunrise 6:39, yeah, and sunset 18:55. Really? Blimey, you see how that moves through the day, don't you? I mean, on the 1st of this month, sunsets at 19:40. By the end of the month, sunsets at 18:35. It's a whole hour, more or less. But yeah, an hour and 10 minutes movement throughout the whole all of 1 month, September. Yeah, so actually I've been sort of pegging. I hadn't realised how quickly it moves day by day. I've been sort of just working on a fixed 7:30 finish, but actually 7 o'clock's probably close to the mark today. That's right, it's usually an hour or so of usable light after sunset. But right, let's try and find out where I need to be now. It's only this way. I can't see any way up those cliffs really, unless it doubles back up there. Oh well, I'll find out. if I keep walking. Well, I wonder how strictly necessary that all was ahead of the first cup of coffee of the day. Right, let's keep on up. Looks like it levels off a little bit, mercifully. See a lot of this. I mean, wind and the rain and erosion don't really do that, really. I think that's probably somebody with a screwdriver's gone in and wedged behind the sign, trying to snap it off. It's a shame. It's either mindless vandalism or some people just don't like footpaths, don't like walkers. I don't know why. We're a lovely bunch. So I think we're up and out of St Margaret's Bay. Back on top again. There it was. Charming place, I'm sure, when it's open. I'm glad I didn't try and push through and out the other side last night. There's a bit of a climb there. Tackling that fresh, relatively speaking, and it's still quite hard work. Right. So onward to Kingsdown next then. Yeah, it's quite an impressive one. Small thing far away. No, it's quite big, quite near. It's down on my map as War Memorial. I mean, we're not going up there, we're going through there, but an impressive thing that can be seen quite far out to sea, I suppose. Doubles as a day mark. Alright, off across some wilderness. What's that? Coast Guard? I don't think it's the NCI, it's not got their logos on it. Yeah, right, let's press on. No, bicycle, no, you can't come. So, 7:51 I think. I don't know, my phone still thinks it's in France. I'm just reviewing the marching orders, doing the map bit for now. Well, that looks like a nice gentle meander downhill for quite some way. I like the look of that. That looks good. So yeah, we can see that on here. So where am I? I am having trouble focusing. Let's put it back in one. I think it's trouble focusing at all in steady mode. Hang on, back in a second. Okay, back again. Look at that, it's having a much better time of it now. I guess it can't focus at all, but it seems to offer 1 times and 0.6 times. Probably because there's 2 different lenses on the front here somewhere. And it just flicks between them, but neither of them can actually focus when it's steady. Interesting. Anyway, yeah. So I believe we're here. That's War Emil. Big stone spike. So we're just above the cut above the rest. So we just meander down this foreshore margin here, which looked like it had plenty of opportunities for a bit of the discretionary, but I don't need to worry about that now. And then we go off into the woodland here. Yeah, see that? A marsh or something. And then it's just, yeah, over the top of that hill there, which is a golf club, figures. The other side of there, I mean, we're basically down to, well, it says the White Cliffs Country Trail, but I mean, essentially we're down on the sort of 10-20 metre margin, all the way up to, I mean, that's Kingsdown here, so that pub there may not even be open. I need to check. I mean, I bought this map like last week, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was printed last week. I've been in the shop quite some time. I mean, who just randomly wanders into a North Hampshire, into a Berkshire WH Smith's and picks up a Dover and Folkestone map every 5 seconds. So anyway, yeah. Yeah. I think by the time we get to Walmer, which looks like the next thing beyond Kingsdown, we're basically down on the shoreline for quite a long run. And then we're on to the next map. Deal is beyond. I'll swap over at that point. But, so I don't think this White Cliffs of Dover section of cliffs is actually that long, really. It starts at Folkestone in earnest, comes round the end through Dover, obviously, and then by the time we're around to just beyond St Margaret's Bay, it's already tapering back down to a shoreline. So today might not be as up and downy as I was expecting. I don't know what Cliffsend. Oh, maybe Cliffsend refers to cliffs at the Ramsgate and Margate end. Maybe that bulge is a bit cliffy, because that would then be the start of those cliffs from my perspective. But if you were coming the other way, it might have been the end of those cliffs. Okay, so perhaps my last 10-mile day might involve a bit more up and down. Well, we'll be able to see properly when we get over that wooded hill, because I think we get a bit of a proper glimpse at the next vista. But no, it's all going well so far. Everything's coming up tip. So basically, yes, pack up, have another swig or two, I'm okay for water till Kingsdown certainly, and then up and over and away. It's so mellow up here. There's almost no wind at the moment. I don't know if that's just because it's early morning or there's just not going to be any today. But got all sorts of interesting cloud formations going on all over the place, but none of it threatening me in any way, which is nice. I suppose in the mornings the sun tends to lift the clouds off the ground anyway, I suppose. I don't know. Certain behavioural patterns with weather around sunrise and sunsets. Oh hello, is that another wind farm? I think it might be. I'm in zoom mode, aren't I? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, another wind farm off of Ramsgate, off of Margate there, Broadstairs. Yeah, see, you can tell that's artificial, that's a plantation, because they're in lines. That's not wild wind turbines. I approve. I mean, I've seen a nuclear power station up close and it was a big blocky mess. I mean, you know, it's impressive and interesting in and of itself, but I think if you could just put a load more of those out, we wouldn't probably need to worry about nuclear waste and things after all. I don't know. I'm right on board with no more combustible energy, no more fossil fuels, but the thing is with uranium is it's not really renewable. There's still only a finite amount of uranium around the place. And in terms of energy security, well, we don't have uranium in this country. I think we get our stuff for our reactors from Canada. I don't know. And Canada's generally a quite easygoing nation, but you know, who knows what the next 50 or 100 years might bring. There may come a time when Canada is some kind of tyrannical global despot and decides not to let anyone have any uranium. Then where will all our nuclear power stations be? Can't stop the wind, can't stop the sun. So yeah, I am in one of the calmest, most tranquil places I've been all year, and I can't stop gabbling on about in-related matters. Must be quite frustrating for you on YouTube. You could just click the mute button, I suppose, you know. In fact, I'm surprised you haven't done so already. Good. Ah, that was nice. Just got chatting to a pair of through hikers coming the other way. A pair of them had been wild camping as well. Exchanged some travellers' tales and stuff. Apparently near Sandwich there's a big long stretch with a dual carriageway you have to walk along. Fair enough. And also there's not much wild camping opportunities up this end. So I think I've done my planning fairly well then. Yeah, told them about the nonsense on the approach to Dover, Western Heights. Signage on the way up. It's all good. Just reassuring to see other people doing this stuff, you know. Not mad like me. Not just me on my own doing this. Other people do it too. It's great. Just surprised I remembered my sociability and how to talk to people, because I think, aside from you, dear viewer, I haven't really talked to anyone except shopkeepers for the past week. Right. Yeah, there we go. Access land, yeah. Cliff erosion. They told me a horror story about being escorted off an industrial premises because they took a wrong turn. Hopefully I won't end up down that same thing. They think they went the wrong way anyways. Can't say I haven't been lost on my way before either, to backtrack here and there. Fortunately, quite rarely. Alright, so yeah, I think it all does flatten off and become, well, I don't know, they didn't use the word boring, but I could pick it up subtextually. That's okay, I don't mind a bit of boring flat level trudging for a while. Could do with some shops really. Get some food on board. Still got all those nuts. I've got 4,000 calories worth of nuts. I'm probably going to end up taking back home again. I mean, I don't really relish the idea of just chomping through an entire bag of mixed nuts. And there's other food available. That's okay, I'll snack on those in the weeks ahead, I'm sure. That'd be quite a success story, to be honest, if I hadn't had to use my own emergency food. If I've managed to find food everywhere I've needed it on this trip. Which, to be honest, is quite likely because it's very civilised around here. There are these wilderness bits, but it's a very tame wilderness, you know. It's not wild at all. If my leg was to spontaneously shatter in 38 places right now, I could probably drag myself to a bus stop without too much screaming and be home the same day probably, or ideally to a hospital. So yeah, it's good. Getting a good old yomp on. There's France lurking. I mean, was there less of it than there was? See, I don't know what, I have no idea about French geography, to be honest. Why would I? But I think that section here is like some kind of national park, heritage, coastline, hill, cliff type area. I think to either side it's just more flat, and Calais and a bunch of other dunes and cities. There's quite a lot of lights from that end as well. Don't know what's over there. I think we established that was Calais. Yeah. A lot of ships out there. Or was that the Coast Guard again looking for dinghies? Not me, Gav. No, this isn't a tent. It's just like a yoga mat. That's fine. You know, I just like to spontaneously break out into a pose every now and then. Right. Must be Kingsdown coming up around this corner over this hill. Let's see. Interesting. Yeah, I think we are done with the hills for today, unless that's me over there. Either way, that's going up and over and then back down the other side of this hill, and from here it's just a great long flat straight plane all the way up to Cliffsend, I think. So yeah, campsite over there. That looks hella steep, that one. Why do they always do that? Oh, I've got a really slopey bit of hill I can't put anything useful on. I don't know, let's make it a campsite. Still, I suppose, not in need of a campsite now, but I suppose they save the flat bits for caravans. I mean, you know, a tent on a slope is an inconvenience and an uncomfortable night's sleep. A caravan on a slope is usually quite dangerous. So yeah, I can see the priorities at work. Alright, a bunch of radars, they look temporary. It's got like a tow truck arrangement. I saw one of these on the cliffs before we hit Dover yesterday. Big cameras on there. I think there might be some kind of bolstered anti-immigration type situation. Boosting radars and stuff. They've got standalone solar panels as well. Not wired into it. I mean, that's a golf club building, that is. It's not like a customs and excise facility. The other one I saw was in a farmer's field. I wonder if they're just like throwing up loads of mobile ones just to really hammer down the defence, as it were. Don't know. No dinghies so far, which is a good thing to see. Oh, there's a yacht. Two-master, big old boy. Girl, is it? They're always female ships. I don't know. Yeah, not sure I'd be able to manage that single-handed. You start to need a crew at that point. Yeah, so here we are, Kingsdown, village proper over there. There's my sign, and there's the cliffs I was on. And this hill here is a cliff as well, by the looks of it, through the trees, but I don't need to go up there, so that's good. And I just go around it, and then I think we have a lot of very flat ground for quite a long way for the rest of today, certainly. Probably don't have to deal with any hills until tomorrow, hopefully. This is good. I mean, this sign here points directly across the shingles to that headland there and the promenade, but I may divert left a bit and just cut into the village, see if I can find a shop, and then cut back out again to the seafront promenade there by the looks of things. Also because I don't want to walk on this gravel, there's a road over there. But yes, I need some breakfast, need to buy some more mineral water and top up the tanks. Don't mind buying mineral water if it's available. It is definitely the safest option, although tap water is perfectly safe. But you know, some toilets, some public conveniences, you don't know. Yeah, so I'm gonna follow that road just slightly to the left and see if I can cut down their little main high street or whatever. And then I shall make my way back to that promenade where those benches are, and then carry on my merry way. Fortified and whatnot. It is 8:51. Does that sound right? I think my phone thinks it's back in Britain again now, which is good. So I think I'm back on British summertime or whatever. It is summertime still, isn't it? Clocks change October, don't they? End of October. Yep, let's crack on. Right, back on the beach. Trekked inland a little way to find a small village shop, a very small village shop. Could barely get in there. Had to leave my bag outside. Yeah, still did the job. I'm not a choosy beggar by rule. And there we go, Saxon Way, England Coast Path. No North Downs Way, we left that behind in Dover. And we're on cycle route 1 over there on the road. Not 2. I wonder where 2 goes to then. I mean, as we saw, 1 goes to Inverness. 2 might go to Penzance, I'm not sure. Have to look it up. So, somewhere along here. Yeah, next place, Deal. And I think Sandwich somewhere along here as well. Don't know. Yeah, fancy a bit of promenading again. But as we can see, I mean, there doesn't look to be a lot of geography between here and Cliffsend, for which I'm quite grateful. I'll walk along this bit for a little bit. Oh, careful. Down. Good. Yeah, a little bit of seafront shuffle. I'm not sure this goes very far, but I have to go back across into that bit. Oh well. Nice day for it. Very calm. I mean, not much of a breeze, which is just as well. There's not much hills today then, because I do need the breeze to keep myself cool. But I think that could just be a lot of shade and shelter from hills. Might just not be very windy today at all. Don't know. Yes, France still. Slowly receding over the horizon as I plod on. Right, let's crack on, get some miles in. Now I'm all fed and watered and such. Yeah, and just like that, we're on to everyone gets a seafront view promenade for miles, a bit like Dungeness. Can't even see the cliffs anymore. Surprising. Like, cliffs of Dover are only really about 5 miles either side of Dover. Drops away to lowland shoreline. Quite flat. Not a massive rugged ordeal of a day, like not much of Cornwall. Yeah. Cycle path number 1 along here as well. Ah, right. What have we got here? That's probably Kingsdown, just down here. I think that might be Deal. Deal or no deal? Bet they hear that a lot. Is that a pier? Got a minimal pier if it is. More of a sort of oil refinery terminal. I don't know. Anyway, in the distance is the little bulge I've been talking about. So I think Ramsgate might be somewhere along there. Maybe tucked in at the start or on the end. Don't know. And then Broadstairs in the middle. And Margate on the back of that. And that's that whole promontory. It does look a bit cliffy. That's probably what Cliffsend means then. It probably means those cliffs, not these. So we've probably got a long flat bit to do today. And then at Cliffsend we'll probably start climbing again tomorrow. That's okay, because there's only 10 miles around the end of that. It's actually quite a small headland. And on the far side of that is my train home. Good, alright, well, first order of business, get down to sea level and see what we've got in the way of... To be honest, it's local grocery stores I value the most. Co-ops, Londis, whatever. Don't really have much truck with tea rooms and ice cream shops and that kind of thing. Just the stuff the locals use to live on as well, you know. Oh, hello, nearly trod on an interesting specimen. What are you? I'm even pointing at it. Yeah, there it is. some kind of, I'm going to go with caterpillar. Like a burnished sheen to it. What are you going to turn into? I mean, if you're a caterpillar that long, obviously scale problems now, but well, here's my foot by comparison. If you're a caterpillar that long, you can turn to a butterfly with a wingspan of about, I don't know. Oh, I do. My foot near him just terrified him into immobility. I'm going to move on. Stop freaking him out. But yeah, quite a big butterfly off of that, surely. Yeah, right. Yes. I feel the need for food. That doesn't really scan. Oh, this is very efficient. A little bit boring, but it is getting the job done. I can say that. So we're on a big long sweep of coastal margin now. Left Kingsdown behind. Deals up ahead. Don't know how far. Get the map out and have a quick little look in a minute. Now my phone's working properly, I can start using online resources again. Google Maps, etc. Weather reports and such. Oh, here we go. In loving memory of Liz Pickford, a devoted and beloved wife and mother who loved to walk her dogs here. Dear. That's not much of a validation, isn't it? This is some sort of reclaimed recycled plastic material. I approve. Oh. You die, you've lived your whole life, and all people can think to say about you is you were a mother and a wife. And you walk dogs. I'd be a bit disappointed, to be honest, if that were me. Right, yeah, just gonna take it not too strenuous today. Don't overshoot, definitely don't want to overshoot, because I'll mess up all my travelling home plans if I don't stop where I'm planning on stopping today. So, got a lot of bench stops, that's all good. Starting to feel the wear and tear a little. It's okay, you know, nothing that won't heal, but definitely know I've walked a while. Right, yeah, just going to have a check with the maps and apps and so on, and then carry on. Just doing a bit of preemptive recon. So that's Deal, which we'll get to shortly. Just coming on to the edge of this last map of the trip. And you can see the England coast path literally runs along the coast all the way up. It does exactly what it says on the tin, and it looks completely flat for the entire rest of the day. Unfortunately, what I'm noticing is that up here we have the River Stour, or a River Stour anyway. There's a lot of River Stours, I've decided. This one basically cuts off an enormous peninsula running from Sandwich north, which ends here in Cliffsend, which is pretty much where I'm trying to get to. See Star Viking ship parking, that sort of end. That's the kind of place I'm thinking of dropping. But what I'm seeing is that I'm going to have to go all the way up to the top of this peninsula and then come back down again, because the England coast path does what it says on the tin and goes all the way up, whereas the Saxon Way just takes a massive shortcut and chops off that part. Saxon Shore Way, it thinks, no, we're not going to bother going up there, it's all just massive golf clubs. So it's about, I don't know, another 2 or 3 miles worth before we come back to Sandwich and cross the bridge there, and then we carry on back up the rest of the coast. So I was kind of hoping it would just cut that peninsula off, but no. So I'm not allowed to either. So, okay. So probably about 13 miles to go still today. So it's still going to be a fairly long day today then, what with that additional peninsula. See it in more wider scope here. There you go. So 4 and 7 is the Saxon Shore Way, which just cuts straight across. Whereas 5, England coast path 2 and 5 go up to here and come back around. I mean, 5 goes right to the very tip. That's the Stour Valley Walk. Presumably you're walking the entire length of the Stour, but I'm compelled to follow England coast path signs. That's part of my quest. So yeah, I'm basically going to have to go all the way up here and then come back again, and then cross at Sandwich and go all the way back up again. So a bit of a zigzag today, but I'm stopping roughly where that 2 and 6 are today. Not going in, because from what I can gather on the map, pretty much everything from here onwards round is all built up. Just no opportunity really for wild camping, I shouldn't have thought. Not that I'm happy with anyway. What's that strange spot? Focus enhancer on. discovering lots of things about my camera this trip. Yeah, so that's basically it. We're just off, basically on the very bottom of this, just off the bottom of here at the moment. So we just need to get to Deal, maybe grab a bit of lunch or something. Don't know, I'm not hungry at the moment, maybe. Then power on up to the end of here, come back round down the river to Sandwich. Maybe I'll get a sandwich in Sandwich. Oh, it's just suddenly all clicked. Yes, I've always wanted to have a sandwich in Sandwich. It is pretty much a bucket list item. Yeah, right, well, we'll get a sandwich in Sandwich. There's probably a sandwich shop there. It's like one of those words that you say over and over and it seems perfectly normal, and then suddenly breaks in your head, you know. Yeah, sandwich. Yeah, once we're done with the sandwiching, we're going to go back up here and hopefully stop before we hit to Ramsgate. Then Margate will be tomorrow. Ramsgate to Margate is a tiny amount of travel, really. And yes, it's on some cliffs, but I think it's a kind of like large flat peninsula with very little in the way of straight up and downs, but we'll find out tomorrow. Not going to worry about it today. So there'll be a little bit climbing in tomorrow morning, and I think we stay up all the way around, really, because the nature of that peninsula means it's solid rock, which means it hasn't been eroded away, whereas all down here is softer bay, which is why it's all come in. Typically peninsulas and promontories and headlands tend to be of higher rock than other places. Yeah, we'll see the North Sea. Don't know if this is technically the North Sea, what I'm looking at here. This might still be the Straits of Dover, I don't know. If you come round a corner, you know, where the North Sea begins and the Channel ends. Definitely by the time we hit Margate, around that bend, we'll be onto the North Sea. I've seen the North Sea occasionally, now and then, not more often. And spent a lot of time there. Going forward. Right, okay. So yeah, another awkward river to deal with today, but that's okay. We've got time, we've got distance, we've got wear and tear. That's all part of the plan. That's good, because to be honest, Google thinks I could get to the stopping point in about 3.5 hours. Which, you know, again, it thinks I'm quicker than I am, but of course Google is going to take the cut across here at 4:07, not do the peninsula, so I'll probably add another maybe an hour or two on. It's still 5 hours, and 5 or 6 hours. Oh, hello, safe on mode. Yeah. Well, this looks like Deal seafront. That's a good yomp. Still make out the cliffs in the far distance. Can still just about see France. That's Deal Castle. An example of mid-Atlantean style. I don't know. I wanted to say Elizabethan, like, you know, Elizabeth I, but who knows. There's a pier over there. Got a brutalist, modern concrete looking thing. We're going to have a proper look at that in a minute. I'm just having a bit of a breather. Doing well so far. A bit of excitement. Not me. That's loud. Yeah, grim looking thing. I mean, from a distance I mistook that for an oil terminal. Largely concrete, steel perhaps. Has the look of something that was grudgingly thrown up after a much grander structure was burnt to the ground. But I expect there's signs. We'll have a look. Of course I've got to go out on it. That's the rules. Retro clock on the top there, 30s or 40s, probably pre-war. I imagine they would have been a bit busy during the war around this here part of the world. Let's go on out. Not even an ice cream shop, it's just a single restaurant on the end. Sit down service thing. Oh, yeah, it's definitely something about the 1960s multi-storey car park school of design involved in this pier. Still, plenty of seating. It's all bench. So yeah, still see France. Seen the cliffs, that's fine. Don't need to go up that end. Let's look at what's ahead. So we need to get up to somewhere called Sandwich Bay next, which is presumably a continuation of this promenade, some distance up north. And then, yeah, the Saxon Shoreway then cuts inland to Sandwich itself, whereas I have to go out and follow the English coast path, which takes me out onto a peninsula, which then doubles back around past a golf course and eventually comes back to Sandwich as well, which is where the bridge over the River Stour is. Stour clearly being one of them old English words like Avon, which probably just translates to river, because I just keep seeing Avons and Stours everywhere. They can't all be the same river. Rivers don't work like that. And then, yeah, up to, basically, once we've passed Sandwich, it's back up the river, and essentially we're aiming for the bit where that coast turns right and starts going along. And I want to be in there somewhere at the end of today, so that's okay. Yeah, it looks a bit cliffy on the end there, but it does look quite stable, quite maintained height, you know. There's not lots of ups and downs, but who knows. We'll see when we get around there. Yeah, well, I mean, unless I'm wanting to have a proper sit-down dinner in here, which I'm not, it's only 11 o'clock, I probably need to head back off the pier and start meandering north. You can probably find an ice cream somewhere along there, but the pier itself is quite a subdued affair. It's not the grand gala plaza that Eastbourne was, or Brighton. It's almost a utilitarian pier, like for mooring boats. Maybe it's a wartime thing, I don't know. Perhaps. Couldn't see any plaques. I'm sure there'll be some somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, not sticking around on here for too long. Gonna carry on. Ah, here we go. Promenading north out of Deal. Next stop, Sandwich Bay. Probably. Oh, just had a cappuccino, which I didn't want. Went into the shop looking for an ice cream, came out with a cappuccino. Don't know what happened there. No, there wasn't a misunderstanding on anyone else's part. I mean, I saw the word cappuccino, thought it read Americano, pointed at it and said it. Yeah. So I'm still looking for an ice cream. Possibly an Americano. I don't know what went on there. I think it's been a long week. I think I'm starting to feel the long-term fatigue starting to hit a little. Maybe I haven't had enough coffee. Another Spitfire, yawn. Yes. For some people the war was never over. Oh yeah, just gonna go get the Spitfire at lunchtime and storm Deal Beach, you know. Hilarious. Well, I guess that's us done with Deal. I haven't seen a Martello Tower in a while. Is that all done with? Is there not any of it have any up here? Yeah. That's just been a South Coast thing then. Yeah. Snack van covered in AstroTurf, love it. Right, probably a little bit of a bench stop, and then I guess we're pressing on into some kind of golf course based Duneland for a while. And then Sandwich Bay will be somewhere up ahead. That'll be the next little place we'll reach, I think. So I'll have a little bit of a sit down and chill for a moment or two. Yeah. Right, here we go. Oh, it's already on. Here we go, this is a bit more firmly packed on this side. Yeah, that's the end of civilization there. We go this way for about 2 or 3 miles, then there's a place called Sandwich Bay, which according to Google satellite stalking mode suggests there's basically nothing there, some houses. Then the other side we go out onto the peninsula, and that's about another 3 or 4 miles round trip. But then when we get back, it's sandwich time. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to eat a sandwich in Sandwich. I didn't know that was on my bucket list until today, but now I want that more desperately than anything ever. So it's essentially become a sandwich pilgrimage. But for the moment, dune top sea view. Got to stay me for quite a long time, I suspect. I'll check in regularly, I'm sure. Well, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen such a perfect wild camping spot. Just needs a little bit of wind shelter. Level, smooth, flat. I bet Peg goes in there, lovely. Oh, it's a teeing off spot for this golf course. They've decided to put one on the other side of the path. Honestly, that's just asking for a tent on it, that is. Trapped between the Gulfscape and the deep blue sea. These houses are getting slightly bigger though as I approach. Although I was mistaken, because they look like they're actually 3 or 4 stories tall. So they're actually quite big houses. So obviously they seemed like they were further away or nearer than they were, or something. Perspective, who needs it? So yes, that's Sandwich Bay. I mean, I don't know, a little ice cream shop there or something, but it doesn't really strike me as a touristy sort of spot. I think it's just some houses. Golf course continues on the other side of it, I think, or wetlands or fields or something. I shall avail myself of whatever's there if there is anything there, but not hopeful, frankly. We shall see. If I'm lucky, I can fill my water bottles from a tap, but because I've completely emptied one now and about half on the other, so I will definitely need water at Sandwich. Sandwich. I will definitely need water at Sandwich when we get there, but I should be alright until then. I've been drinking fairly, I was about to say heavily, no, consistently this morning and today. I don't really drink alcohol on my hiking. Got the old hip flask full of amaretto for a quick nip in the evenings in the tent, but even then that's not, probably no more than a single shot's worth in a whole evening. Probably much less on average. Some nights I can't be bothered at all. But yeah, I mean, just boozing it up with lager or cider all the way around is not the way to do it. Very bad for hydration. Plus I need my wits about me if I'm to navigate this labyrinthine coast. So yeah, don't generally drink on these trips. I don't drink a lot normally anyway either, really. Another common aspect of recreational life that seems to have just passed me by. Yeah. Right. Well, I'm going to head down and trudge on some more and see if these houses get any nearer. I'm dubious. 12:13, I've made it to Sandwich Bay, which, as I predicted, there's nothing really here. Some nice, very big houses, of course, but nothing I can use, I don't think. Ice cream shop, that sort of thing. So I guess I'll just keep on going. Might have a sit down at the next bench, but I think we're heading up into the estuary now, towards the peninsula, and then round the corner and back down towards follow down the river. Let's see what happens when we get to the end of these houses. Of course, I say houses, mansions is nearer the word. Sort of place you can't go a whole week without some consulting detective traipsing everyone into the denouement parlour to solve the latest murder. All sounds quite tedious. I'm moving on. So whether that white house is on this side or that side of the river. I don't know. I think I've got a lot of walking to do today, that's all I know. Most of it in a straight line on level ground, which is okay, but not as interesting as it could be. Always complaints with me. Well, there we go. Gulf Coasts of the South Coast, number 78, the Royal St George's Golf Club. You can see on my map. So we've been through the Royal Cinque Ports Golf Club. Then there's the Royal St George's Golf Club. Then we've got the Prince's Golf Club up ahead. Yeah, it's about here, I think. Just past that path turning. So the Saxon Way Bales at the next turning, but there's at least, there's two toilets marked there, so at least one of them will have some water, I expect. Top up. And then we basically go all the way up here and then follow this margin all around here. I imagine this is all like mud, flat reed beds and stuff. You don't want to be in there. Although that red sort of pinkish area marks the coastal margin as defined by the Marine Shoreline Act of whatever. There's actually a thing about that in the notes. It's essentially access land except where there's like a house or a garden or whatever. But I'm not sure that access land implies necessarily that you could put a tent there. Then come back down the other side to over there, probably where that line of trees is in the distance. That must be the river, I think. Certainly not many trees marked on here. And then round to Sandwich, home of the sandwich, where I will have a sandwich. And then we're back on up the trail up here, I think, back up this side and away. A bit more of a straight line. It's probably old cycle route number 1 along there. Oh no, I can see the one there, yeah, the red 1 marks. Yeah, so the cycle route leaves us. It was the other side of the golf course, but it's going to go off and head completely inland from here by the looks of things. Yeah, right. I wish I could train myself to think in kilometres, because these orange grade maps are basically 1 to 25,000, was it 4 centimetres to 1 kilometre? Yeah, so essentially these blue squares are each a kilometre long, I think. Is that right? 4 centimetres, 1 kilometre? Yeah. So if I could think in kilometres, that would make life a lot easier. It's like 2.5 inches is a mile, but I don't really know what an inch is. Is that my thumb? That part of my thumb? I don't know. Yeah. I don't put the markings on in miles, because miles is an old-fashioned, obsolete form of measurement, except in the UK. Sandwich flats. Is that like the really thin pita breads? This is never going to get old. I'm having the time of my life right now. Okay, good. So yeah, I'm going to see if either of these 2 public conveniences is open, in which case I might be able to film my thing, because I've only got half of that one left and the other one's totally empty. So, and it is a long way to go, and it's a bit warm today, so yeah. I'm pleased to see that the English coast path doesn't go all the way out to the very end and round and then literally follow the edge. I mean, I'm guessing there's just a considerable amount of reed beds and salt marshes involved. There's still a lot extra from the Saxon Shore Way, which bails very early, I notice. I mean, I'm just about here, I think, somewhere. That's okay, you know, if I wanted easy, I'd have done this by car. Lovely little bit of foreshore though. Seems quite undersubscribed. I think you're allowed to park here and, you know, take in the sea air and stuff, but I mean it is, well, what time is it? It's 12:53 on a Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. So yeah. So I imagine it's probably not that busy. Yes, so up to that big white building next, which I think might be some sort of golf club, and try and catch some water on the way. I doubt there's too much to hope there'll be an ice cream shop, but it's quite out of the way, this. But there are sandwiches on the horizon. Alright, rough road. Left the link road to the golf club along the England coast path now. Not even the Saxon Way, even that bailed on me earlier. Oh God, I tell you, I swear I shouldn't be able to feel the extra 1.5 kilos of water I've just put on board, but certainly can. It's not just the weight, it's the momentum as well. When I sort of swing my hips and stuff, it just feels slower, more sluggish. Still, I'm considerably reassured to have full tanks of water now, 2 litres, ready for whatever this peninsula is going to throw at me, really. There's a building in the far distance there. Not sure what that is. I guess that van's going towards it. More bits of golf club, I suspect. Yeah, getting a view of Ramsgate then. That's on the corner there, on the far headland. That is a port, that's a ferry port. Not nearly as busy as Dover, but there are sailings from there to, I think, Ostend maybe, Zeebrugge, possibly. Not sure the specific routes, but Dunkirk maybe. I think I went from there once. Did I go from there once? That was complicated that day. Might have ended up at Dover after all. There was some sort of dock workers strike at Calais on the day I was trying to get to Europe. Ended up possibly going there and then coming back, I don't know. Can't remember now, a long time ago. But yes, we'll be seeing all that tomorrow. Probably going around the top. And then yeah, Margate essentially mirroring it on the far side to the north. This sort of headland peninsula, Broadstairs in between. I don't know anything about Broadstairs at all. Maybe it has some Broadstairs. Knowing my luck, the path will require me to go up and down them a few times. Oh, I do whinge a lot for something I'm theoretically enjoying. Don't know, getting on to the wrong end of the week really, the long end of the week. I reckon I've done about 80 miles already this week, maybe more. It's 10 miles from where the headland starts to the end. Don't know if it's 10 miles from here to there, perhaps less. So yeah, end is in sight. I suspect I asked Google Maps, it could tell me I could walk there in about 5 or 6 hours to Ramsgate now, but I'm going to, dial it back a bit. Plus Google doesn't know about this peninsula for some reason. It thinks I should have taken the Saxon Way detour. So, kind of on my own up here. That's nice, bit of wilderness for the final straight. Yeah, just keep pushing on. Relief. I've just come from the way I'm allowed to come. For a minute there I thought I was trespassing on a golf course. Confusing lack of signage and some quite abrasive old pre-England coast path signage down the other end of this stretch implied that this was golf course go away, but looking at the map I think I've gone the right way. Green line, yeah, I've just come from there. That's where I was confused. This enclosed bit, and it's probably recent, they're trying to, I don't know, stop it re-eroding, let it grow a bit or something, but come up from this direction, get to here, and there was no signs at all about what you should do, so I just went straight on. And here I am, Sandwich and Pegwell Bay National Nature Reserve. Spiders again, loads of spiders. I like spiders generally. I prefer spiders to flies, I think spiders do a good job, apart from the the angry ones with red hourglasses on their backs. I suppose they can bugger off. Volunteer livestock checkers. I'm not stopping long, sorry. There we go, look, confirmation I'm on the right path. So I think this is as far north as I go on this bit. I mean, the actual headland continues quite a way ahead actually, about another half mile maybe. Onto all this dunes and grazing land and so on. Yeah, saw one of these at the other end, which is quite a go away vibe about it. I mean, even members of Kent Trust and the RSPB have to show their ID cards, but no one came tearing after me in a dune buggy or a helicopter when I strode off down the end there, so I guess that the side bit's a path. I don't want to be traipsing all over your golf course, you can keep it. I ain't here to trespass on purpose. Got my own thing going on, which is this. So we cut across this way now, and then it sort of zigzags in and out and back, and then eventually it hits the river, and then I follow the river back to Sandwich. Sandwiches and Sandwich. Oh yeah, I've had a lot of sandwiches in my life, starting from a very early age. Back when sandwiches were horizontal cut, 2 rectangles, not those triangles that seem to be the standard today. But yeah, so this is a kind of pilgrimage for me that I didn't know I needed to make. Don't know what that is, a massive industrial facility there. I suppose we'll trudge along the side of that at some point. And then yeah, back along that line of trees, I suspect, up to somewhere around there, I'm guessing. Not in zoom mode at the moment, but somewhere in the centre of the screen is Cliffsend, or the bit of waste ground stroke abandoned airstrip or something that I've marked out as a potential spot to drop the bag. Or is it there? Well, literally the Cliffsend, maybe. I'll have to check. Marked on the map as St Augustine Trail as well. Yeah, probably might coincide with my way, but I'm not doing a St Augustine Trail on purpose otherwise. Yeah, I think it is that sort of slopey bit of foreground there. I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah, time wise I'm probably well ahead. It's just got just about 2 o'clock now. I've got to go back down that way to the river, then come all the way back again to probably about there here again, but then there a bit and I'm done, so might end up just sitting around for quite a long time. Don't really want to head up onto the headland today because, as I keep saying, there's not really much wilderness up there. That's all towns pretty much all the way around. which might make it difficult to wild camp, and I don't want to push on much further, or indeed push all the way onto Margate, which may be physically within my capabilities just, but I'll be absolutely shattered, and I'll rock up at a train station at about 10 o'clock in the evening when with no real hope of getting back to my home the same day, and having to sleep on a railway platform anyway, which I've done before and don't really relish the idea of doing again. But yeah, this is the end of the peninsula for me, and it goes on quite a way up there to the river mouth. I don't think it's wadable, so I'm just gonna just follow the path. It's fine, which goes this way next, but I'm gonna have a sit and rest. I need to sit and rest more because, well, partly obviously because I'm tired, but also I've got time to burn, I think. If it's 2 o'clock now, that gives me 5 hours till sunset. Remember, it's 7, not 7:30 now. Yeah, 5 hours, that's 10 miles. There's no way I've got 10 miles to go. Probably 5 if that. So yeah, plenty of sitting about and doing nothing really staged throughout the rest of today. It's good. Weather's I had a lot of grey clouds over there. I imagine they'll probably start raining when they get towards London way, but I think I'm all right. Weather report says I'm fine. It's all coming, wind's coming from that sort of direction. Don't know, can you see France anymore? I don't know, June's in the way, but probably France is receding. We'll see when we get onto that headland tomorrow, see if it's still visible, but yeah. Fortunately I haven't seen any horrific dinghies waiting to be tragedies on the news, rubber dinghies and whatnot. Not my problem really, I suppose, but not sure what I'd have done if I had seen one. I suppose I ought to have called it in somehow, but yeah, who knows what half these black specks are out in the sea. Could be just lobster pots or fishing boats. There are professional people going up and down in quite heavily powered motor cruisers taking care of that stuff, so don't have to worry about any of that. Right, so yeah, another sit and another sip, and then we'll just start zigzagging back across this dunes and salt marshes and whatnot till we find the river bank, and then we'll follow that back to Sandwich. Golfery as far as the eye can see. Yeah, I was starting to develop a modicum of grudging respect for these golfers, but then I realised I'd just walked 3 golf courses back to back. So these people haven't had to walk nearly that far. Half of them have got little carts as well. Alright, still swinging around the top end of this lot and then coming back south down the river once we get to that part. Gonna have to get used to this kind of inland, oh no, where's the bridge peninsula shenanigans, because the north and south banks of the Thames, in other words next spring's hike and the autumn's hike after that, it's absolutely riddled with tributaries that join the Thames from inland and lowland marsh areas. Not many of them have got accessible bridges or ferries very easily. I have to do some severe backtracking and trekking just to find various bridges across some of that stuff. It's going to be quite a logistical nightmare, quite challenging. So I'm looking forward to that, sort of. Path crosses flood defences. Okay, oh, shooting takes place. Grazing livestock, golf balls. Right, okay, good. Take my life in my hands. I may not live to see the sandwiches. Yeah, I hope that's a massive sandwich factory over there, otherwise I'm going to be very disappointed. To find out if we keep walking. Still trudging. Do like a seaside pine forest, little mini one here. Long grass. Be an ideal place to stop, but I haven't done my mileage today, not by a long shot, so gonna keep moving. Nice little glade there, nice little place. Technically I might still be inside the golf course, I don't know. Some far corner of it they've forgotten about. Yes. Making headway though. Actually, what with all the detouring backwards and forwards to Sandwich, I think I might not have to wait too long at my destination after all. It could be quite close time-wise. That's good. Don't want to have to be sat around doing nothing for 3 hours in a hedge, waiting for the sun to go down. Alright, we sort of loop back out that way now, do we? Oh yeah, there's a big causeway we can follow now. Sort of dike or flood defence of some sort. Good. Up on top. Bramble season. I wish I liked blackberries more. too many bits of hair and pips and things. I've seen a lot of them about this week. Right. Oh, well, there's the river at last. Bloody river. Yeah, it doesn't look like a significant obstacle actually. I suppose I will go around. Yeah, I basically just need to be over there where all those buildings are. You even see a dual carriageway that I'm probably going to have to trudge along next. Oh, but not for some time yet. I need to be down there and round and long, and yeah, long way to go yet. This is just quite dispiriting. Enormous peninsula detour that I could have just cheated and cut the end off. Oh well, never mind. I think that right up there, straight ahead, is basically that golf club, so you know, I've gone on a massive loop. Quite a long one. Still, so that's what the acorns say. Follow the river sort of back stream towards Sandwich now then, I guess. Hopefully it isn't going to take, well, it's going to take as long as it takes. It's quite a way. It's the other side of those factories, I think. And they're quite big and quite far away, so yeah. Just keep an eye on it all. Just keep trudging on, go places in my head. That's the ticket. Just gone 3 o'clock. 4 hours to go, potentially 8 miles. Probably closer to 6. I don't know, I think I've done a lot of the mileage already, zigzagging backwards and forwards through all this lot. Because once we get the other side of Sandwich, it's basically a straight line up a dual carriageway until where I need to be. I don't precisely know how far along that dual carriageway, I'll have to measure it up. But yeah, into that afternoon dead zone. Their life is pain. At least I'm on this track now, which is better than the tops of these flood defences, because they were all slightly tilted, which means that a lot of the pressure was over on the side, on my little toe, on my left boot when I was walking, which not very comfortable. But yeah, now I'm on a much more level surface, so that's fine. I can carry on trudging like this for a while. Getting a bit of a weary backache thing going on from the bag. Quite glad tomorrow's the last day. This has been quite hard actually. That's okay, I'm still good for it. Going to keep going until I reach my mileage, but yeah, probably not a footstep further, I shouldn't imagine. And I probably deserve a rest in Sandwich, because I think that might be the last big place to get food and drink for the day anyway. So have a bit of an evening meal, early afternoon tea, whatever, which will almost certainly involve a sandwich, but probably a load of other stuff as well. And then yeah, just the hopefully that'll pep me up a bit for the late night, for the late afternoon trudge session, where I have to pass through the middle of that factory. I think it's on my map as works, but there's no indication of what on the Ordnance Survey. It's a big old site though. Who knows what's going on in there? Maybe there'll be a sign or something on the front gate. Anyway, yeah, we need to be way up over there, back up to yeah, nearly. That is the Isle of Thanet, I now know. I studied on my map. The whole bulge I've been referring to, promontory, headland, whatever. I think this River Stour here kind of delineates it a bit. The Isle of Thanet, comprising of Ramsgate, Margate, and Broadstairs, and a few other bits and pieces. And there we go. It's always good to have names for things. Names give you power, or something. Right, I just need to keep on trudging and try not to drive myself mad with the vanishing point thing, going off into tangential spaces in my headspace. Yeah, looking forward to that sandwich. It's going to be amazing. New landscape, boatyard over there. That's what we're looking at here. I think they're strawberries. Right sort of shape and got the white flowers. That's where all those strawberries from Kent come from. Some polytunnels over there. These will be out in the summer. A lot of water used there, look. Guess they're exempt to hosepipe bans and stuff. They're growing food. Yeah. Alright, yeah, I've been doing all my schedules and timekeeping and stuff. I think if I can get to Sandwich within the next hour, 2 miles away, I hope I'm there. I hope I'm getting there, certainly. Then I can afford a half-hour stop to consume or carry a bag of food. And then that gives me 2 hours to get to where I think I need to drop the tent, which is 4 miles away. That's a 2 mile an hour conservative estimate. I think I'm generally a little bit faster than that. It's all very going to be close today. I reckon I've done at least 18 or 19 again today, then I must not have factored in that big old loop around the peninsula there, which has definitely added on about 3 or 4 miles, maybe more. So yeah, hard day, still not over. Oh, here we are, Sandwich, and just about on 4 o'clock, so I've got about an hour before I must set off for my rendezvous with sunset at the right place. Probably won't take me an hour to find a sandwich and have a bit of a sit, but so far so good. I think that's the bridge I'm after. See what they've got in the way of local grocery stores. Lots to see. Some sort of US Navy patrol boat there down there with all the guns. This is the bridge. That's where I'm going next. That away. Load of boat yards. All sorts of very upmarket looking hotels and pizza restaurants and things. Probably through there, I guess. That's where the actual real shops are. I'm going to go and find some. So I got my supplies with 45 minutes to spare. I've accidentally started walking anyway. I couldn't find a bench and I sort of got confused, and then next thing I know I'm on the trail again. So next bench I see, I shall sit down and have a sandwich. Presumably still in Sandwich, I hope. Right, so I can spend up to 45 minutes on this bench, but I'll probably get bored long before then and move on. So that over there behind me is the Sandwich Industrial Estate. It's good enough. So once now for our never to be repeated feature, Sandwich in Sandwich. Today I've chosen the Cheese Ploughman's Deep Fill from Spa as my Sandwich in Sandwich. I'm going to open the package now. It's a bit limp, it's probably been there all day. Best before 21st September. That is today. It is the very definition of its shelf life. It's a bit curled over on one side. Okay, here we go. So it's cheese, pickle, mostly pickle if I'm honest. A little bit lettuce and tomato. But most importantly, between 2 pieces of bread. I mean, this is the modern triangular variation. Didn't get those when I was young. Quite bland and unappealing. Mostly pickle, which itself is mostly vinegar. There you go, Sandwich in Sandwich. I'm off to Melton Mowbray next. Right, I've got a load of other stuff in there, drinks and whatnot. Rather busy link road at rush hour. I need to consume all this lot and then crack on. So, yeah, somewhat replenished and refreshed. Quarter past 4. 4:45. I don't know. Quarters and fives and things. 4:45. So I've got 4 miles or so to do now before I get to where I can probably stop for the day. And there really is no point trying to go on beyond there. Plus, I think I will have done, by the time I've done this 4 miles, I think I will have done about 20 miles today already. Still, that's what you get when you compress days. The days get longer. So yeah. Yeah, so the route now is really straight. It basically follows alongside a bunch of roads. One that goes through an industrial estate, which then joins a really boring big dual carriageway that I think the 2 backpackers I met this morning warned me about. And it swerves off and eventually comes to a bunch of country parks and what Google is calling Mocha Thanet. I don't know, some sort of art thing, but also hovercraft terminal. And it's a big old abandoned bit of waste ground now, I suppose, that presumably at one point was a hovercraft terminal. I don't know, I mean, we all know about the only working hovercraft ride in the UK. We've been on that one from the Isle of Wight. So yeah. Anyway, head down, trudge on for a bit, I think. Wow, that's the big works. Discovery Park, apparently. So all sorts of different people in there. I think at least one of them's an incinerator. I saw a Pfizer building. No idea what most of the rest of it is. Big. There's a sort of air of converted military about it as well. Like overgrown car parks and bits of rubble foundations here and there in there as well. It's also been repurposed from something else in the past. I need to basically try and pace myself a bit along here because my feet are starting to throb, particularly the left one. In danger of ruining my enjoyable holiday. So I need to just, you know, take 10 minutes on the occasional bench. And just get there basically before dark, which is pretty easy going, I think. Don't need to go flat out. I can stop for comfort breaks every few benches. Here, what we got there? M2. Blimey, we're not going on the M2. Didn't think that was here. I thought this was just an A road. This is the A256. Squinting a bit. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, this is shaping up to be the worst piece of footpath I've experienced this week. Ninja bike. It's dual use, of course. Oh. Alright, just trudging, I guess. Probably not going to be many benches along here. Gets the distance done. If it's anything like the Blue Peter ones they dug up in their garden by accident a couple of months back, then there'll just be brown sludge in there. Still, it's good to hope and dream. Oh God. Looks a bit forlorn, doesn't it? And it's come bulldozing into that. But I think I get the general idea. It's over there and on for some more dual carriageway. There's a KFC over there. So I already had a sandwich in Sandwich. So I believe at some point down this thunderous dual carriageway of nightmarish acoustic properties, there's a turning to the right and I go off down part along the river, but we're not there yet. I think it's good in a way. Sort of palate cleanser, isn't it? You wouldn't want all that rural clifftop tranquility to get blasé. Just a bit of a taste of what it's like everywhere else most of the time. It's kind of rush hour as well. It's 23 minutes past 5, so all these people are zooming around back and heading home from work. I'm going to carry on trudging just as soon as my feet have recovered a little bit. Getting a bit numb, which is not really a good sign, but it's alright, not far to go now, perhaps two miles tops, I reckon. And they can have 10 hours of me lying down. Should be good, for them anyway. I expect I'll just keep tossing and turning all night and waking up every 45 minutes, but you know, it's what the feet want that's important. That's a relief. Still about a mile or two to go, but we've turned off down here now, so it's a bit less busy. There's a subway, 2 garages, a KFC down there. All the sorts of things I might need at the end of a long day's walk, but I've had my sandwich in Sandwich, so I'm alright now. So yeah, just gonna hobble my way down here till we get to the Viking Ship. I mean, there's a country park on the right, but that's not really my plan. I wasn't planning on camping in the country park. That's a bit cheeky, I find. Although there are cheekier people than me about, clearly. But no, just beyond the Viking Ship, toward the shoreline, there's a whole bit of waste ground, which I believe used to be a hovercraft terminal, but is now just a whole bunch of concrete and scrubland, so, which I don't think is fenced off, if Google Images is anything to go by. But it all smacks of in-between towns interstitial waste ground, the sort of place that I can quite use. So, oh look, we're even going away from the road. Oh, lovely. Looks like we're actually going to go through the park. Nice, so I need to get to the Viking Ship, because that's pretty much my mile marker. At that point I'll have done my distance. Can start, oh hello. I'm going to go through here, are we? I'd rather go down there. Alright, let's follow the arrow. Yes, my journey's end is near. Actually, this is better. The mud's much better at absorbing shock
It doesn't reflect it all back up through your legs like the concrete does, the asphalt. And it's so much quieter here. The bushes and trees muffle it all. And it's not the country park I was imagining, you know, immaculate lawns everywhere and fountains and bandstands. It's pretty wild. So if my abandoned hovercraft terminus doesn't play out, then I might backtrack here a little. We'll see. There's plenty of cubbyholes I can hide away in. Just until the earliest dog walkers start turning up. Oh really, that way? Can't help feeling you're adding distance. Yeah, okay. Mind you, this is the kind of nonsense that had me doing that whole flipping peninsula earlier today, so reserve judgment. Kind of feel like I ought to be going behind me. Well, let's follow it along. It probably just wants to show me the far bank of the river just to taunt me a bit. Ah, look, I was there and there. Then I had to go like about 1,000,000 miles that way. Now I'm back here. Oh, so it just wants me to follow the shoreline up to wherever. Good, that's okay, I can go with that. Pretty much back where I needed to be. And those bushes and stuff I think were marking the edge of some of the shore defences I was skirting around. A mere 3 hours ago or something. Maybe 4 hours ago. Don't know. I mean, you know, just a low bridge. You know, it can be a swing bridge. I don't mind letting boats through. Or a small ferry service. Hell, a zip wire, I'd have given that a go. Bloody hell. Right, well, I still need got work to do, and we're still in the country park. And there was a sign earlier saying semi-wild ponies live here, and that looks fresh to me. So I'm going to need to find at least one swing gate or stile before I even think about stopping for the night. But I've got better ideas a bit further along, so it's okay. But time pressure's definitely off now. It's 5:45. Even my most pessimistic expectations of sunset are an hour and a quarter away, in which time I could potentially get another 2 miles done. So, and I don't think it's going to be that far really, which gives me a bit of scouting time and some loitering time, and I think we're done. That's good. I am so shattered that my my audacity is pretty high when it comes to the wild camping tonight. Not that I'm going to be wild camping or whatever, but yeah, I really do need to lie down for 10 hours quite soon, I think. Let's keep going though. Get out of this country park at least, the next bit. Oh, and there you are. Yes. Don't want you eating my tent late in the middle of the night. I shan't be disturbing your field. Go wide, don't want to be hoofed. Yeah. God, finally it feels like I'm making progress. Just cleared the end of that peninsula headland over there, and now moving up the coast. And I think I see where I'm aiming at as well. Not in zoom mode. Hang on, back in a second. Alright, so if I zoom, see what looks like a grey thing with like white dotted lines on each end. That was the on-ramp, I believe, for the hovercraft terminus. And the large area of land behind that, I'm led to believe, is waste ground. This might suit me admirably. I'm just hoping it's not like, you know, razor wire chain link fenced off. If it is, well, we can backtrack and find something. But if not, then it's just somewhere in there ought to do. It looked pretty big from Google Maps and from satellite view. Easy for one small tent to get lost in. We've got to get there first though. It looks like it's about a mile away still. Yeah, still, it's nice to be beyond Sandwich and Pegwell Bay finally, into new lands, even if it is nearly sunset. And you can see the port of Ramsgate over there, like ferry terminal and things down there as well. Not anticipating much chugging and engine noises will keep me awake tonight, because that's very low traffic, that place, compared to Dover. Maybe 2 or 3 trips a day, if that. Don't know. And they're quite long trips as well, so it's not just like, 45-minute turnaround and then come back. It's about 4 hours or so to Ostend or Zeebrugge or somewhere from here. Don't know, not sure precisely the route, that one, but it's more of a couple of times a day thing rather than a constant churning whirligig of machinery and cars and lorries. I expect we'll go past it on the cliff top tomorrow. Right, let's keep at it. The end is in sight, I can feel it. Oh, I'm in not steady mode. Hang on. There we go, much steadier, like a rock. So here it is, the Viking ship picnic area. Viking ship Hugnin, I think. Is that a wolf on the front? Possibly. Made it here about an hour to spare, I'd say. Take time to rest, reflect and remember in loving memory of Pauline Francis Russell or Kenneth Frank Russell, always in our hearts and thoughts, forever missed by your family, 2021. It's new. It's a bee. Or a wasp. Either way, not going to piss it off. Oh, right. So I've done it. I've managed to get here 24 hours earlier than I was originally planning. Which means this Thursday up onto Thanet instead of Friday. A leisurely 10 miles tomorrow. Up at 7:30 or so. Should be at train station. Should be at the station in Margate by about 1 o'clock. So next I need to find a way down onto all that concretey stuff, where there's all sorts of copious bushes and bits of greenery in between, hopefully. Can't imagine anybody rejecting me setting up there. I'm sure there is a gap in the fence somewhere, or the hedge. I'll have to scout about in a minute. I've actually seen people walking along the edge of it from afar when I was coming down the other headland, so there is a way down there. But I'm pleased there's not many easy ways down there, So yeah, just gather my breath and wits a bit, and then we'll see what we can do getting down there. That's a really very loud motorbike. Are there laws against that sort of thing? Yeah, so I'm picking up hints and pieces here. I haven't done any proper research, of course, but this was once a hovercraft terminus. See, looking from the bush growth, I'm guessing it hasn't been for at least 30 or more years. But yeah, large expanse of concrete with intervening bits of greenery, that's all I need. Pegs won't go into concrete, of course, but I'm sure there's enough green patches down there that will do the job. Of course, I'll have to be careful putting it up because my split pole, but that split pole only needs to survive one more night, and there's basically no wind or rain coming tonight, so it's all good. So I'm pleased with progress so far, although, as I say, I could do with lying down for 10 hours. Hopefully my feet will regenerate enough to get me back on my feet and finishing the rest of the holiday tomorrow. Just taking a little bit of a rest. Local dog walker's finishing up, as we like to see. Bugger off. There's a good chap. I mean, I don't want to pitch up on this greenery, obviously that's picnic play park area, but down there it's quite a different matter. It's a scrubby wasteland, almost a Fallout 4 post-apocalyptic look to the place, minus the rads, I hope. It looks ideal, frankly. I can just get down there somehow. There's a gap through the fence hedge here, or possibly something over there. I have to have a bit of a wander and scout it out. Failing anything else, I can head on, continue up the path till it gets to a beach a little further on, and then backtrack along the shoreline. That would also work. But, not worried. I don't think there's any chain links or anything. Well, like I say, I've got to do a bit more scouting before I can rest my weary head for today. But yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing I look for generally. Saw this one from space. Right, bee gone. Good, don't want to crush you. He may retaliate. Yeah, I don't know. Might sum up a little bit now in case there's no time later, but I don't know, about 20 miles today probably. don't know. I have to measure it out with the little stringy tool on Google Maps. The trouble is I have to use it from a desktop PC for that. The app version, I don't know how to do it. But yeah, it felt long anyway. It felt hard. Feet feel like they've done a 20. That'll be 2 in a row probably. I mean, yesterday was more or less 19 or so. So that's, yeah, compressing days. That's what I do. Fool to myself really. I could just go slower, but I can't. I sort of have one speed, you know. You walk at a cadence that suits your natural body rhythm and everything. Yeah, but there's people down there. Not in zoom mode. I can see people moving around down on the dog walkers on the concretey bit down there. Perfect. That implies there is a way down there, and that people will be gone from there quite soon. I don't know if there's local gangs of youths. I think someone else down there as well walking along. Yeah, must be relatively easy access then. I can't imagine 3 people with dogs are climbing chain link fences. Hopefully no gangs of youths are going to be down there burning bonfires and drinking special brews and things. But it's a school night. It is Wednesday night, so it's not really a celebrate, go out, burn stuff night. That's usually Fridays and Saturdays, I'd have thought. So yeah, I reckon I'll be alright down there. Just need to work out how to get down there, that's all. Possibly around the back of there, actually, looking at it, where that person with that dog and coat has just come from. Not a problem, least of my problems right now. In fact, I don't really have any problems right now, which is nice. Is that France? I think it might be France. Just the very tip of France. I'm going to have to go back to zoom mode again, hold on. And we're back. Yeah, it's too long to be a ship. Unless it's a tsunami, in which case, good a place here as any to face the end. Yeah, it's France still. Just, yeah, because I'm curving round and basically that way's there. Basically, I'm looking, yeah, oh god, 20 times zoom. Hang on, let's just try not to make everyone puke. Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty much looking due south now with the camera, so that's probably the tip of Pince-Nez or whatever. Calais will be probably slightly over the horizon, shimmery a bit to the left. So you can still just about see it. Right, okay, well I've got a few bits and pieces to sort out, so I'll give you a little goodbye shortly. Well, that was easy. There were some stairs there. I'm not sure this bridge is in use at all anymore. No, it's got a gate on one end at the bottom there. Obviously part of the original facility, perhaps. This would have been the main driveway in. Car parking, check-in. Don't know. Love it though. Love this sort of abandoned engineering aesthetic here, you know. This is my own little episode of abandoned engineering. Of course, I can't stick a peg through that, but I don't know how deep some of this stuff is. Sure, I can find some. Well, I mean, anything that's got trees growing through it must be permeable, surely. And how much of this is actually concrete and how much of it was left alone as sort of green verges and whatnot, even in its heyday. Cut through to the shoreline. Yeah, I could totally see it. Hovercraft terminal. That golden era Jerry Anderson-esque future that we all never had. Cut through here towards the shoreline, I think. Just keep an eye out for suitable greens patches. I mean, this looks green, but I suspect it's only a few centimetres deep, of moss, asphalt underneath. Just have to be a bit careful. Lots of dog shit around here as well. I think some people aren't picking up after them. I think wild campers are a scourge. Rampant dog shit everywhere, that's bad. This must have been the apron turning area. I suppose there would have been buildings along some of this part. Check-in desks and so on, ticket offices, waiting rooms. This would have been hovercrafts to the corner. It wouldn't just be like the Isle of Wight, like the one from Ryde. This is a car park, maybe. Still more through there, so perhaps so. Check-in desks. I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google some historic archives and stuff. It's a big old site though, which is what sort of attracted my attention whilst scanning along the route from Google Maps. And I thought, it might come in handy, and it has. There we go. I could probably squeeze in under some of these trees if it comes to it. Nice green bit in there. That would do me, probably. Assuming that's... Well, yeah, I mean, this stuff wouldn't be growing through asphalt, probably. Well, it might be. Don't know. To study the lines of it all. This does look like original hedge work, though. Just left to go. Oh, yeah. Mud cliffs over there. Don't want to get too near that side. Closer to the shoreline, the better, to be honest. Let's have a look over here. I mean, this is intrinsically fascinating anyway, regardless of why I'm actually here. Yeah, it's a bit rubbly, but some of this might work. Never think to bring a hammer with me for knocking the pegs in. Ideally, shouldn't need one. There's a bit more low-lying here. This feels a bit more like the working end. We're near the sea this side. Yeah, here we go, it stops just over there. And that sort of black and there's white lines on the rampy section, you can see those from Google Maps and from quite far away. Yeah, I think the difficulty here will be just finding something that isn't asphalt to put the pegs through. So I might have to head a bit further back, but I can't imagine anyone would care if I set up here tonight, no. There we go. Oh yeah, this looks like the business end. Big flat arrival and departure thing. I imagine we've got a ramp at each end of this. Yeah, this is the manoeuvring area, the apron. All this space. I think, yeah, probably on that hedge work then, don't I? Pampas grass maybe, the other side of that. We'll see, I'll find something. Right on the edge would do, probably. Certainly doesn't look tidal. They wouldn't have built it up here if it flooded at high tide. There'd be a significant drop off before that becomes a problem. So all that flats out there is a protected bird area, but I ain't going out there. That's fine. No desire to set any feathers. Yeah, look, you can still see the white lines. This is obviously the in ramp, and the other one would be the out ramp, or vice versa. How I'd order it, and you go, and then they'll manoeuvre to various terminals or just stairs, you know, trolley stairs, whatever. Yeah, here we go. Centre line, white line, really wide. I wonder how big they are. Presumably one hovercraft fit in each half of this ramp arrangement. I don't even know the types of hovercraft involved, anything like that. Fantastic. Little Jerry Anderson history lesson there. I'm going to have to look all this up at some point when I get home. I've got leisure and an internet. Is that writing? Don't know. Yeah, I think all this is just growing through on silt on top of the... seeing rabbit droppings, but obviously it's not fenced in anyway, so there's obviously no cattle on here or horses. Don't think the pegs will go through this stuff. I think this is only very shallowly into the concrete there. No, I'll have to head back into the shrubs and bushes and things, but right, well, I'm probably going to say goodnight here then, because I've got to go and do the clandestine, but yeah, see you tomorrow for the final day. Ta-ta.